Now let's break down partial self-funding. What does that even mean? You know, a fully insured plan and a self-insured plan, which I'll show in a moment, are basically the same thing. It's just that in exchange for all these moving parts, you're basically, when you're fully insured, asking the insurance carrier to cover it all up, make it seem real simple in exchange for a budgetable flat monthly payment. The problem with that budgetable flat monthly payment is in exchange for that, the carrier, you are now fully insured, the carrier owns your information. And as a result, they don't share much information with you. And just like any other aspect of your business, if you do not have information, you cannot manage it. And as a result, frankly, your healthcare premiums continue to go up every year because it's an unmanaged expense. And naturally, anything that's unmanaged gets a little unwieldy, a little bit out of control. So all self-funding does is pull the cloak off of a fully insured plan, and it shows you what is inside of it. It's basically all the same items, except in the self-funded world, we call them slightly different things. Now, there's basically three components of cost when you self-fund. There's claims, represented by this light blue box. There is administrative expenses from your administrator, in this case, WellNet. That's all these items here. And then there's stop-loss premium. That's the three things. And there's three risks that you need to be concerned about. So I'm going to proactively address all three of those risks right now. The first thing you might be thinking to yourself is, what if one of my specific members has catastrophically high claims? And that's a wonderful thing to be concerned about. The way that is addressed is through one of two stop-loss policies called specific stop-loss. It's a policy written on each specific member. And the way it works is you as an organization choose how much in claims per member you're willing to pay before the insurance kicks in. Obviously, if you pick a very high number, the premium for that policy is going to be very low. But if you pick a very low number that you're willing to pay in claims, the cost of the premium to insure that will be much higher. So it's really just a conversation of how much variable cost in the form of claims do you want to pay, or how much premium do you want to pay. Over here, you're paying 100% premium, no claims risk. Self-funding lets you really move the slider around and choose your comfort level. So let's say, for example, you choose $10,000. That means you'll pay the first $10,000 on my claims, my wife's claims, my child's claims. Once their claims reach $10,000, you are done. You're off the hook, and this specific stop-loss policy will pay every claim for the rest of the year, immediately and unlimited. You've now addressed risk one. Risk two is, what if none of my specific members have high claims, but my entire company, all my employees have moderately high claims? That's called aggregate risk. Aggregate's defined as all claims under the specific claim threshold. So the specific threshold was 10,000. So the aggregate claims, represented by this box right here, are all the claims under 10,000 for your entire group. And the aggregate policy draws a line in the sand. Before you even sign up, you're going to know exactly what your aggregate claims risk is. Remember, claims over 10 are paid by the specific policy. So all claims under 10 are this light blue box. How does the carrier figure out what this box should be? They look at your expected claims. What were your claims last year? And then they add 25%, known as the corridor. So expected claims plus 25% is your worst case scenario for all claims under the specific threshold. All claims over the specific paid by the specific policy. Now, the third risk we'll talk about in just a moment, but let me round out the conversation on self-funding, because it really is about as simple as I just explained. Now, you're going to have fixed costs, which are going to represent maybe 20 to 30% of all your costs. Then you're going to have claims, which are 60 to 70% of all your costs. For the sake of conversation, let's assume this claim risk is $800,000. This fixed cost is $400,000, so grand total of $1.2 million. Over here, you're paying $1.2 million, and you get no money back if your plan performs well, and you still get a premium increase. And frankly, if you have a bad year, you'll get a 30, 40% increase. Over here, it's the same $1.2 million, but if you do not spend all $800,000, you're going to get every penny back, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. So the question becomes, do I want to pay $1.2 million where I can't see a lick of information, or do I want to pay $1.2 million with the opportunity to get money back and be able to manage my information into the future? Every one of these, you're going to see the cost every single month. And you can start asking questions. Who's the stop-loss carrier? Are there other stop-loss carriers? What network options do I have? Etc. Now, the way this works for large organizations is every month they're going to pay 1/12 of the fixed cost. That's what their invoice is going to be from their administrator. And then the claims risk could happen all at once or all through the year, but this claims risk is $800,000. The problem is, for a small company, you obviously cannot have $800,000 of claims hit in month one. You'll be bankrupt. And that's why, historically, self-funding has not been relevant for clients really under 200 enrolled lives. Now, what WellNet has done is put together what we call a level-funded chassis.